Invincible is one of the greatest shows on the internet today, and the writing is just fantastic. Well, mostly. Season 3 did a decent job building up its characters and really humanizing them. Now, usually I don't do this type of thing, but I had to talk about this season. So, for me, one of the things that really stood out was the underlying lesson that our main protagonist desperately needed to learn, and that's what I'm focused on here. Mark is too weak. And I mean, not to say that he isn't probably one of the strongest heroes, if not the strongest, but spiritually and mentally, he just doesn't seem to have what it takes to make the power moves required of him. Until this season finale. I think I could make a series of videos about the lessons being learned all around, but I'm going to focus on what I think Mark's greatest weakness is. He's too compassionate. I know. In a show where the heroes get mutilated so bad you'd think the creator was into that kind of thing, I'm making a video on compassion? But just hear me out. Invincible presents two contrasting ideologies of compassion. The Viltrumite approach, which sees compassion as a form of dominance and control, conquering a planet, adding it to the empire, enforcing strict compliance, and human compassion, which emphasizes care, empathy, and the preservation of life at any cost. It then tests those ideologies in some of the most brutal ways conceivable, with both being represented by Omni-Man and Mark respectively. Throughout the show, both characters are presented with situations that hold a mirror to their firmly held beliefs and forces them to contend with reality. Mark especially has gotten the short end of the shit stick since day one, but the last few episodes of the most recent season got me thinking, what's more dangerous, a hero who doesn't kill or a monster with a warped sense of compassion? So on one hand, you've got Mark's transformation from the hopeful, idealistic Invincible to this. This is, in a word, tragic. To date, I don't think a single hero in popular media has been beaten as brutally as Mark gets on a weekly basis. Oh, but there was that one time that Superman got... One time? Invincible tends to look like this or some other variation of this after every pivotal fight. But it's not just the body disfigurement porn that keeps us glued. There's a lesson being taught to both Invincible and Omni-Man. Now, originally I tried to talk about both of them in one video and it just got way too long. So that video's sitting on the back burner for now. But anyway, in a lot of ways, Invincible is a coming of age story, but not the Disney sanitized type. It's a real story of what the world does to young adults, turning them into sometimes well-intentioned cynics. From Machine Head to Angstrom Levy, Mark's compassion often gets him and others hurt, but nowhere is this clearer than with Conquest. And of course, I have to mention the battle. This fight has real consequences, not just for his relationship with his father or his younger brother, but also with the greater world. In this fight, Mark was entirely too weak to really stand up to the powerhouse that was Omni-Man, resulting in the deaths of thousands and the creation of probably my least favorite villain of the week. But he did have one good point.
Why is above the law? Why does never pay for his crimes?
Suffice it to say, the world is showing Invincible that he needs to toughen up, and he needs to be willing to kill to save the ones that he cares about. A prime example is the glimpse into the future that Mark gets in the fight with the Immortal. The fight with the future version of the Immortal serves as a crucial lesson for Mark. It teaches him the brutal reality of the consequences of compassion. As if that weren't enough, the fights with the alternate Marks all give him a glimpse into how sick, sadistic, and twisted he could really become if he were to fully embrace his Viltrumite heritage. This finally culminates in the most brutal way possible. The fight between Invincible and Conquest is easily one of the most brutal and intense battles in the show. Mark gets absolutely creamed in this fight. Now, I gotta take a quick second to talk about the writing this season. There are two specific instances I need to discuss: Adam Eve and Rexplode. Rex started as this cocky, grating asshole in the beginning, but as he continues to fight and grow, he really starts to mature, even starting a stable relationship with a coworker. At the same time, Adam Eve and Invincible also start dating, and while it was a bit sad having her be relegated to just being Mark's girlfriend for a lot of the season, she does get one fight on her own. These relationships help to add weight to their respective death/near-death scenes. And yeah, you could say it's questionable writing to have a powerhouse like Adam Eve be relegated to a plot device, but I think it was the best choice that could have been made given that 1, the IP's not that old, and 2, we haven't had a lot of time to be endeared to a lot of these characters.
Get ready for my arrival, Bird.
I have arrived. Orders descend from the shrine. I'll let you decide.
Conquest, being a Viltrumite warrior and a seasoned fighter with overwhelming strength and endurance, test Mark in ways he'd hitherto never been, even recreating the train scene from Season 1. Jesus! I'd hate to be a normie in this universe. I'd mentioned earlier that the writing this season did a good job humanizing characters, and Conquest is no different. I actually felt empathy for him when he shared that he felt alone. But the line is even more poignant than just that. If we have Mark get too powerful and toss aside his ideals, this could be his future. It's evidenced here, and it's even evidenced by the evil Marks he fought earlier. To this point, Mark has had the blood of countless thousands on his hands, quite literally, which could have been avoided if he'd just been willing to end truly vile opponents. It's the same argument people have with Batman. While Mark gets a few good hits in, Conquest is simply too overwhelmingly powerful for him. The beating gets so bad, Adam Eve steps in, and I'ma just say it. Girl was in her bag with this fight. At a certain point, she had a full Super Sentai power suit and was working this man. But all that ends up being a heap of crap as... Now, I know the Viltrumites have been compared to the Saiyans before, but I really thought I was about to see Mark hit that Super Saiyan 2 transformation here. While his hair doesn't turn golden, he does get enough of an adrenaline boost to finally... And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the breaking point. It's at this point, seeing Eve brutalized, witnessing his brother almost get ripped in half, and seeing countless people killed by invaders and other bastards, that he finally resolves himself. He has to be willing to kill. After everything he's been through, Mark finally understands the weight of his choices. The fight with Conquest wasn't just a physical battle, it was a battle for Mark's ideology. His compassion has always been his defining trait. But now he's faced with the harsh reality that sometimes compassion isn't worth the cost. Conquest pushed him to his absolute limit, and Mark responded, not just with raw strength, but with resolve. The choice to kill Conquest wasn't a descent into villainy. It was Mark accepting that there's just going to be times where the only way to protect the people he cares about is by making the hardest decision. But what do you think? Did Mark make the right call, or was there another path that he could have taken? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed diving into the world of Invincible with me, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for me. Until next time, stay strong, stay compassionate, and maybe avoid Viltrumite family reunions. See ya!